everyone, and welcome to July Topic Time with Harrison Young. I hope you all had a great 4th. We have an awesome show tonight. Yes, another Zoom show. We're going everywhere. We love that. I have a lovely lady. She's an artist and a photographer, a photographic artist, if you will. We're going to look at some of her work and talk to her. But as usual, we're going to read these great underwriters first, and then we will commence. So we got Lynch's Towing Auto Cycle Truck Center in Brockton. One number for towing, one number for projects. He's looking for new vehicles, junk, anything that can be used in moving projects. My friend Dave Lynch will give money for. That's in Brockton. We got Pembroke Radiator in Pembroke. We got Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We got Crazy Axes Rec Center in Hanover. We got Carver Jewels right here in the building in Carver. Ronald Allen Ladley, Delano Goldsmiths. We got DIY Solar Company in Pembroke. We got New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We got Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough. We got Tom Auto in Middleborough. We got Maggie's Cuts in Kingston. We got DNS Auto Works in Abington and Collision Specialists. We got the Gunrunner LLC in Middleborough, dedicated to your Second Amendment rights with customers or friends. We got Ocean Street Auto Repair in Marshfield. And we got Pacini's Pizza in Middleborough. They deliver. I want to thank you guys very much. Now, on that note, I'll now officially introduce Jacqueline Ann Cordy. Like I said, she's a beautiful lady, artist, photographer. I'm going to talk to her tonight. I guess she's sitting in her little home in New Hampshire there. And she's from this area originally, and I love so much the fact that we were able to talk to her by Zoom, and Zoom is really going everywhere. So Jackie, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to talk to me and show us what you can do.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, well, tell me about yourself. Now, you said you grew up in Randolph, Mass, which is not right here on the South Shore, and now you're in New Hampshire, and I guess you're engaged to be married to somebody down here again, right? At some point.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, we'll get to all that in a while, but let's talk about your history in your photography work. Let's talk about how, what you were like as a kid. How did it get you started, and what did you aspire to, and what did you do? And if I have any questions to assist my first questions, precursing questions, I will throw them in. So go ahead.
Perfect. Yeah, no problem. So I've always been an artist ever since I was a kid. I every year got one of those artist kits that came with like a watercolor marker set. Anytime I had printer paper around, I was always doodling. So essentially it did come from a traditional media style drawing. I originally actually was aspiring to be an animator, and then I realized, traditional media kind of was really difficult for me. So then eventually I found photography, and through that I kind of developed more of an artistic style, a more artistic flow, and thus I kind of was able to make a lot of connections. I went into the route of going to Blue Hills Regional Tech School in Canton, and thus I continued to pursue my
photography. Right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And from there, I, was like, wow, this is really something I'm incredibly passionate about. And I've even found that, through my own trials and tribulations, art has really helped me, be a therapeutic path to getting through those hard times, and also just allowing me to express myself in a way that I never really was able to verbally. So just kind of having a origin with art to now just continuing it with being a profession has just been a really amazing path that I've been grateful to be on.
Absolutely. Just curious, have you ever modeled at all? Have you ever been in front of the camera or just behind it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So a lot of my photography is self-portrait photography. I started out modeling at a really young age, actually. One of my first shoots, probably like 10 or 12.
Cool.
Nothing professional. I was considering going into, the entertainment industry. Thankfully I was pulled out of that due to, that's kind of when the child stars were started going down their own spiral. My mom was like, hey, I really don't want you going through that path. Maybe go through a different direction. And that's kind of was like, you know what, I'll be a photographer. I'll be behind the camera. And, through modeling, I was like, you know what, I can be my own model, because that helped me, it pays my own bills too. You don't have to hiring people.
There you go.
But I actually.
All right, wait a minute. Let me back up. Let's back up a second. So you actually take modeling pictures of yourself and sell them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of my friends.
I don't know anybody that does that. I know. Well, I had a girl on the show here who lives down here too, who has her own, who's a model and a photographer, but I don't know if she's ever sold her own pictures that she's taken. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
you're talking about selfies, right? But professionally done, not with just a phone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Okay. One of my first real accomplishments artistically was at my BFA graduation show. One of the first pieces I ever sold from that exhibition was my first self-portrait, which was amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Okay.
So that felt really good.
And how long ago was this? About?
This is about 2018 now. So I've still been doing self-portraiture. So that's probably, yeah, about 4 years. You're right.
If you don't even look that, you don't really look that old now. I mean, you look like you couldn't be much more than I'd say late 20s, early 30s, if that.
Yeah, I get told like a lot, like, oh, when are you graduating high school? I'm like, oh, sweetheart, I did that 4 years ago, 8 years ago now. Oh my God.
Well, I did it 45 years ago, so you got you got a lot of catching up to do.
Right.
I wouldn't mind that at all. Okay.
It's definitely
Uh,
a compliment.
So what's up? Thank you. All right. So, I mean, thank me, thanking you. Okay. Now, now we're going to look at some of the pictures that you've taken, but before we do that, we may already be looking at them depending on where they get edited in. But let's talk about what you obviously, as a photographer, you have to have an eye for stuff. And what do you think? What do you think you have an eye for? Tell me about, describe the things that you really that captivate you to want to take pictures of them.
So I think I have a really big eye for kind of like the raw emotion.
Okay.
Um, I feel like there is an underlying thing that a lot of people recognize in my art is that I have a lot of passion and emotion that
Okay.
comes through. So I feel like a lot of my art, I have a very strong eye for connecting with other people, even if it is through a very dark emotion. That's where I feel like my eye always stands out, is like, this is an emotional piece.
Okay, well, based on what you just described, that sounds to me like that could be news photography. Have you done that at all?
I have done some. I've gone to a couple of protests and participated not only in the protests, but in documenting the protests. I really enjoy them. Unfortunately, due to medical issues, I haven't been able to be as active at those stages. It's just not as accessible for me for, the handicaps.
Right.
But I have definitely considered, journalism as one of, the greater arts of photography that I would love to be able to do more of. I do a little bit of street work, kind of like the voyeuristic kind of street photographer, where like
You say
I like,
voyeur?
yeah, that's what I like to
Is that what
call
you
it.
said?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's elaborate on that. I mean, are you talking about sexy pictures of people doing
Oh
things?
no, voyeur in the sense of like the more literal definition. Voyeur is in like I am peering into people's ordinary lives
Oh,
and
okay.
peeking into what makes their everyday go about, whether it be a family having a cup of coffee. I did when I studied in
We call that stock photography, right?
pretty much, yeah.
Right. I know that's awesome. As opposed to but you kind of draw the line and peeping into their bedroom in the middle of the night and seeing what they're doing there,
Right,
right?
right.
Unless
Yeah,
they
I've
ask
never
you to, but that's a show for another day, obviously.
exactly.
Okay, I mean, I hear the word voyeur, that's what I think,
I
obviously.
know
Okay.
that's a fair assumption, but yeah, no, it's more of the broader definition of voyeur.
Okay, cool. All right. So you like that, like everyday shot. So it's kind of stuff you might see in Life magazine or even
Yeah,
just candid shots in the paper.
exactly. Just kind of more like newspaper-esque, kind of like this person was buying a ticket at the T station
Yep.
today, and I thought that was interesting because
So
I
when
like the
you
way
sell,
they dressed or stood.
so you free, do you sell your work freelance to different, like, have magazines and newspapers purchased your photographs before?
Magazines, not so much. I would love to be in a magazine. The only publishing I've ever done has been like self-published work. A lot of the people that tend to buy my work are personal patrons or people who personally have been like, hey, I'm really interested in the piece. I would love to buy a print from you. And I'm like, absolutely. And that's kind of like just more clientele, personal one-on-one basis.
Okay. Do you do like shows? Do you
Yeah,
bring
I
your work to
actually,
museums and stuff?
yeah, we actually just did an art show in Manchester, New Hampshire. It was a
Okay.
free one-night event. It was a collective of artists, and I got to show off my Joshua Tree dancer photos, essentially, which are kind of an interpretation of how I saw the yucca plants in the national park.
That's in California, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's where the Joshua tree plants are.
It
Okay.
was beautiful. Oh my God, loved it.
So I'm guessing, so you've traveled all around the country and the world to take pictures, right?
A little bit, yeah. I could say like I'm fairly versed in the travel sense. I haven't been able to stay in locations for a particularly long time. I think Joshua Tree is probably one of the longer periods of times where I've done a project on outside of Florence, Italy. But I've traveled a lot and I've
But
been
tell me
able
about
to.
Florence, Italy. My aunt and uncle lived there for a while, and my uncle sold shoes many, many years ago. They
Oh, that's
passed away.
awesome.
Yeah, they lived in Florence for a while, and I guess I know from what I understand, it's a very nice area, part of Italy.
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's the genuine heart of the Renaissance. There's a lot of history there.
Yes.
Unfortunately, a lot of people like the locals tend to consider Florence a like
Isn't that where
flyway.
Leonardo da Vinci was from?
I I believe so, yeah,
When he
and I
painted the
think
Mona Lisa?
Donatello. Yes, exactly, and I think,
Okay,
Donatello, he was also, did a lot of work in Florence.
okay.
So a lot of amazing, fathers of the Renaissance that resided and created a lot of work that is still being shown in Florence. But a lot of people consider it a pass-by city because you're either traveling between, Milan and Rome, and you're just staying in Florence for 2 days. And thankfully, they have so much of that history there that you can experience a lot in just those 2 days. I got to experience it for 4 months, and I left my heart there.
I'm sure you did. I bet, like, instead of San Francisco, you left it in Florence.
Exactly.
That's, yeah, that's cool. So you were there for 4 months, just doing, shooting the neighborhoods, right?
Pretty much, yeah. A lot of the street vendors, a lot of just like the workers, people in the cafes, just people going about their day-to-day lives. I called it The Ordinary, essentially was that entire series. I did it in film as well, 35 millimeter film.
Cool. Okay. I actually took a photography course at Curry College in 1989 and flunked it miserably. Yeah, after the fall, after the previous summer, I took. Now, have you ever done sports photography at all?
Not a lie. I definitely be interested in it because there's a lot of quick time events that come from those
Absolutely.
sports events that I feel like, I would love to be able to attempt to capture. I just haven't really had the opportunity.
Well, I'm thinking maybe you can make the opportunity. You what? Have you ever? No, you've had your work published in newspapers, magazine, and not magazines. I'm thinking maybe you could start your own magazine, and
Oh
then you
yeah,
can
I
hire
would
out other
absolutely.
photographers too. Just a thought.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I'd love to do that. I
all
was
right.
just a little collecting people and planning.
Well, tell me about what your day looks like now, working, doing, you're doing you're self-employed, obviously, with your
Mm.
photography, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically everything you do is, for yourself. Do you have a staff of people working under you, or are you by yourself?
Oh no, it's pretty much just me and my fiance. My fiance is amazing. He helps me out a lot with everything. Angus has been with me, working as my colleague even before we were dating. We met
Okay.
through college. And he's really the only person I have considered that, works under me or works with me. He's my equal.
Is he a
So it's really
photographer too?
yes.
Oh, he is.
Yes.
Okay. So it's basically just the two of you that run the company.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Now, in terms of like what they hire you, you get hired out for like doing like weddings and events like that, and bar mitzvahs or whatever.
Yeah, I've done a couple of events. I only did 2 weddings, mostly because the second wedding I had was a bit of a awkward mess. Our
Well, how
groom
come?
went to the hospital.
What happened?
Our groom went to the hospital.
Oh no, that wasn't your fault.
So
Wow,
we basically photographed a bride and groomless wedding. That was my second wedding I ever photographed, and unfortunately, I was like, I think I'm gonna take a break from this for a couple of years.
is he okay? Did he
Oh
make
yeah,
it?
he was fine. There was nothing, apparently he was diabetic. It was hot. He had been drinking. So I guess all three of that mixed into keel over for a few minutes.
Right. Wow.
Came
Okay.
out fine. It was a little bit of drama for the first hour. And then they were like, yeah, everybody stay, enjoy the wedding. And
Okay.
we're just like, all right, everybody get a plate and eat and dance.
Cool. Did you get paid at least?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That
Okay.
we got the whole evening. It was just definitely a very specifically strange event that, of course, I feel like would only happen to me.
Oh yeah. Well, it didn't happen to you. What happened to the groom?
I know, I feel so bad.
Well, you didn't do anything wrong. I mean,
I know.
unless there was something, unless you had some kind of a poison light in your camera that might have
God, no.
sickened him. I don't think you have anything.
Sounds like a goosebump story.
Right. It's no liability.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any like done any like shots for the private detectives, maybe looking for insurance fraud, doing anything like that?
No, honestly, that hasn't even been something I've even considered. That would be something really cool.
Yeah, it
So,
would be.
be like a
Oh,
spy.
I mean, the thing is, even though you work for yourself, that doesn't mean you couldn't work, do things for other people too. And
Absolutely.
they'd be like renting you out. You know what I'm saying? So they'd be paying you, and you'd be doing all, I mean, they'd give you an assignment, and what you might do is, I don't know how you advertise for your work, but if whatever you do, any trade journals or online, I assume today it's pretty much online. That might be way to go to say that, to get more business. I'm sure your business is great the way it is, but It's just an idea. Just something I thought, that I thought of.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So tell me, so you've traveled all over the country and the world. Where else have you traveled to do pictures?
I have
What
been,
novel places have you been to?
I've been to Moab, which I
That's
loved
Italy
a
again,
lot.
right? Milan,
Yep.
yeah? Okay, so you love
No,
Italy,
that's
obviously.
Moab is that's Utah. Utah, that's in America.
Oh, Utah, okay, yeah, anything with,
Yeah.
right, the Grand Canyon?
I actually haven't been to the Grand Canyon. I passed the Grand Canyon. We were going to go
Okay.
to the Grand Canyon, but it rained really, really hard. And we were
Okay.
like, we can't sleep in our van and get rained out.
Well, okay, I mean, there's always other times. I'm saying
Yeah, oh
you've
yeah,
done
definitely. I would love
California,
to go back.
the Joshua Tree stuff, okay. I'm just wondering, have you ever done anything else in entertainment? Have you ever played music? Have you ever done any acting? Because I just want to find out if people that I've interviewed have other things going on besides what, the regular deal.
Yeah, no, you brought up the modeling thing earlier. I've actually been doing a lot more professional figure modeling. I've been working closely with illustrators, so I'll go into their class and I will stand there and pose for them for however many minutes.
Wow.
I have even considered doing some voice acting work. I've been told I kind of have more of an eccentric voice. I also can influx my voice in various different ways, not necessarily accents, but like I can change my age sounding voice for a little bit. People consider me one of those like customer service robots sometimes.
What are you talking about? Let's back up a second. You're talking about doing what? I didn't catch that thing.
Voice acting.
What kind of acting?
Voice acting. So like,
Oh,
like
okay. What do you do? Voiceovers?
Yeah,
Oh, you do? That's awesome. How long have you been doing that for?
very sparsely throughout the years. I did it when I was really young, when I was doing like animated work.
Okay.
But I'd love to get more into it through like kind of more like the freelance. There's a lot of indie filmmakers that I'm aware of that are looking for more voice actors, and I'm like, hey, that sounds like something I'd be really fun to doing. I have a really animated type of voice and really interested type of style in that, so that's something I would definitely consider going into as far as a next career path or creative path rather.
All right. What about regular acting, like being in films yourself?
I'd actually probably be considered like doing some extra work.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen like
Have you ever
ads
done that?
things. Me personally, no. Most I think I've ever done is like no, I've auditioned for a couple of like commercials, but that's about it.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, based on what I'm seeing here, you have access to a lot of stuff. My hunch is if you contacted some small indie filmmakers, you probably have some fun. You could probably have some fun with that. And I bet you'd be pretty awesome with it.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Obviously, your life is your photography, but there's nothing wrong with being multifaceted too.
Absolutely.
What
I've even
about music? Do you ever sing, dance, or play any instruments?
I was into dancing for a little while. My mom
Okay.
put me through dance classes for about 10 years. I really
Okay.
enjoyed that. I probably would consider I have a lot of friends in the drag community.
Okay.
I considered becoming a drag king, which is, dressing up like a male.
Just the
And
opposite of a drag queen.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Where
Interesting.
I go to like bars and I do lip syncing because that's actually more what I'm really into. I love to lip sync. That's a lot of fun for me.
That is fun. How
Yeah.
about, I gotta ask though, what did your fiance think of these ideas? I mean, he'd probably
He's pretty
think it was,
open.
he'd probably think it was, he'd probably think it was enjoyable.
Oh yeah, he thinks it's hilarious, especially
Yeah, I
because like
bet.
I've told him some of my like ideas. Like I've even told him like my drag king name, which would be like Prohibition Jack, because I can't drink
Yeah.
alcohol.
Okay. There you go.
Um,
You can
and
dress up like
he's
Al
like, "Do
Capone or
whatever
like
you
one of the
want. That sounds
gangsters
like
from
fun."
you could dress up like a gangster from the 100 years ago or one of the Roaring 20s.
Exactly, or like one of the Newsy Boys.
Wow. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Gaga did that in one of her performances. She dressed up as a guy. It was
Yes,
freaky.
yes,
I thought,
I love that.
yeah. Ooh. Okay. All right. So how busy are you currently with projects like, going on today?
I'm kind of like flexing between kind of in the in between right now. I actually just finished a sculpting commission, so I'm kind of
What?
a sculpting commission, so I'm kind of breaking out more into like various art mediums again.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
You're
made,
doing sculpting too.
yes, I
Cool.
found that I was surprisingly decent at it. At one of our watch the space events, we went to the park. I sculpted a leaf. I was like, That was fun. I'm gonna do a dog next, and I did a dog.
Wow. What do you, when you sculpt, what do you use? Clay? Do you, or granite?
Yeah,
I figured
polymer.
you're in the granite state. Why not use granite, right?
Oh my God, that'd be difficult.
I
A
know
lot of
it would be difficult. I just made a little joke like you were in Italy, when in Rome, there was the Romans.
right,
When
exactly.
in the
Although
granite state, use granite.
that would probably be able to make a nice like rock sculpture. I've seen a lot of people do like the tower rocks.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
So cool.
You seem kind of comical. Have you ever done any stand-up comedy?
I wish I could do stand-up comedy, actually. I think I just don't have the confidence to do it, mostly because I probably would stumble over my words a lot. Mostly I'm autistic. So
There's a very
I'm
famous comedian from from New Hampshire. Do you know who she is?
no who?
Sarah Silverman. You know who she is?
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, I should have known that. I almost said Adam Sandler, but that's
My
not who I-
cousin.
Oh, that's your cousin? That's awesome.
Sarah's my cousin. Yes.
I love her. She is friggin' incredible.
You
She's
look a little like her.
thank you. I love that.
Yeah, I know. She's hey, well, I was actually in a film, and I was in Shutter Island. I've been in a couple of films too. I was in Shutter
That's
Island with Martin Scorsese, and the lady that played the nurse, I was a mental patient, a role I was born to play. That was in 2008. So when the nurse
Really?
played, the lady played the nurse, was escorting me across the floor of the mental hospital that we were in doing the scene. She happened to be, from LA, and she worked with Sarah, and she told Scorsese I was Sarah's cousin, and he said, I see the family resemblance. So that was pretty cool.
That
But
is
yeah.
really
Okay, that's awesome. Oh, yeah, you'd probably be pretty good. Have you ever written anything like, like blogs or poetry? Because I know a lot of people, or even just your personal experiences, just, jot them down in a diary.
yeah, a couple of times. I kind of flux every year, about like every 3 to 5 years. I go through phases of writing. I have a couple of
Cool.
journals that I have decent writings of. Recently I've been wanting to get into like what's considered photo essays, which is
Okay.
like going on YouTube talking about a literal piece of artwork.
Well, you're
in
kind
an
of doing that now.
Exactly.
Yeah, with me.
Right.
And I'm on it. Wow. Oh, cool. Okay. All right. So what's going on? Like, now that it's summertime, I mean, you're gonna be out in the, you're gonna be out in the hot weather, getting, a lot of beach shots. People, because this is the perfect time. Obviously, the 4th of July just happened. There were, parades everywhere. I mean, even where I live in Brockton, I mean, there was a downtown parade. I could hear it from my house, even though I live on the west side. I could hear
Right.
and we'll probably see it on cable TV. So are you going to be hitting the beaches for getting, really good outdoor scenes now that it's summertime and that we're really into it?
Oh, absolutely. Hampton Beach up in here in New Hampshire
There
has
you
some
go,
like
Hampton Beach. You can't beat
amazing
that place.
sunsets. Amazing sunsets and just beautiful community as well. There's always something going on in Hampton, so a lot of fantastic opportunity for some street work.
Oh, I know. That's good. So, I mean, so basically, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of scenery right here in New England that you don't even need to travel too far to
Right.
to add to your stuff, but I'm sure you will anyway, eventually. And
Oh
then,
yeah,
of
I love
course,
picture background, my own backyard more.
I'm sure it's beautiful. And I'm sure when the fall comes, you're really gonna go to town with those orange leaves too, with the
Oh, yeah.
foliage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. What about animal pictures? You like that? I mean, cute, I love cute animal pictures, cats, dogs, snakes, gerbils, whatever.
My dog is an amazing model. Like we call her a paid actress.
Okay.
I have a dachshund, and I've started doing more photography with her because she's surprisingly still.
Okay.
Quiet. She likes to yell, but when she's not yelling, she's just being a princess. She loves laying on pillows, and she's very regal for a dog. So I've been kind of using her as like my little practice muse. And
There you
one
go.
of my portraits, actually, one of my more well-known portraits, has a dog in it. And again, one of those similar situations where these animals are paid actors. I swear to God, they just know how to look
I
at the
know
camera.
that. Let me ask you one thing before we're actually under 5 minutes. We made the half hour go by. I take
Awesome.
a lot of nature pictures with my smartphone in my backyard. I got all kinds of cool animals out there. I've seen, I love looking at bunnies and squirrels and birds and stuff. The one thing I have failed to capture is a butterfly. And every time I try to do it, they're always flying out there. But the only way because they're so small and they're pretty as ever, but unless they come right up to the window, they never come close enough for me to, and they stay still enough for me long enough to snap them. I'm wondering if you have a tip for that, taking butterflies. That must, because they are beautiful. They're the most beautiful insects on earth, but they sure hover around and it's hard to track them down for a shot.
So I have 2 tips for you.
Okay,
patience,
yep,
and
that I
a
have.
long time.
Okay,
Buy a dead bug. A
What's
lot
that?
of a lot of bug photographs are actually of past bugs, like they've passed away.
Oh, okay. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want them alive. But that's me.
But definitely just I would recommend patience and sit in a garden.
You're right.
Sit where
That's a nice,
they're more likely to land and wear
okay.
bright colors.
That's true. I gotta be outside. All right. Well, look, Jackie, you did a great job with me. I hope you had fun talking to me.
I had a great time.
Okay. What I want you to do is look at your window there. And give shouts out to people. They're gonna see the show. A lot of them are. Then we'll wrap the show up with my music, and that's it. So go ahead.
Awesome. I just want to say hi and thank you to all my supporters. Love you, Angus. Thank you so much for everything and being an amazing partner. Lindsay, Darren, Vava, I know you're all watching this. Love you all so much. All of my friends from NHIA and graduates, again, thank you all for your support, and anybody else that's watching there from my friends and family, thank you again. And yeah, feel free to hit me up for any photographic needs. I'm looking to make creative connections all the time. Thank you again.
Okay, all right. We're just about to wrap the show up. I have one request of you. When we finish it up, would you mind sitting around and doing pictures for Facebook? Chris, my tech guy, will take them.
Sure.
Okay, great. And if you had a good time with me, one last thing, if you know anybody with an interesting story to tell, and you have my digits now, have them text me. I'll get them on the show either by Zoom or in person.
You
if
got
that's
it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
If you think of anybody, okay. I asked that of all my guests because I get a lot of guests from word of mouth now.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, I got plenty of people I think I can think of for you.
That's awesome. All right. Well, Jackie, thanks a lot. We're going to wrap the show up. You ready to zing with it like we did at the beginning?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, folks. Thanks for watching Topic Time. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.